Hello and welcome. My name is Yelena if you've never been to my channel, and if you have, welcome back. We're heading into some brand new energies astrologically, and I don't know about all of you guys, but I'm certainly looking forward to a shift after wading through the heavy energies and through my shadow self this Scorpio season. Now, don't get me wrong, Scorpio energy is very transformative. It has the ability to really shift you out of old habit patterns, old ways of doing things, old behaviors, and get you unstuck so that you can transform yourself. But it can definitely be exhausting, to say the least. Now, in this video, we're going to discuss the Sagittarius archetype and what this shift in energy means for all of us as we are embarking upon Sagittarius season, which happens once every single year. And like I always mention, you don't have to be a Sagittarius or have any planets for that matter in the sign of Sag in order to be affected by this. It rules a house in every single one of our birth charts. So if you stick around to the very end of the video, I'm going to be breaking down what this could specifically mean for you and your rising sign, which is also known as the ascendant. So we'll discuss that at the end of the video. First, let's go ahead and begin by breaking down the Sagittarius archetype. First off, it's a fire sign. Now, every single sign is based in a different element: fire, water, air, and earth. So Sagittarius is a fire sign, and we're moving from a sensitive, emotional, and very deep water sign that gets us in touch with our internal world, the deep roots of ourselves that we're not necessarily always willing or want to get in touch with, into a sign that's more passionate, active, and very excitable. Now, on another note, we can look at what's called the sign's modality. Now, we're coming out of Scorpio, which is fixed energy. Now, there's a lot of positives of Scorpio, being more grounded and stable, practical. However, it can be very stubborn energy. It can be hard to shift, to manipulate, and move around, which means that you very well may have been feeling kind of stuck in a certain area of your life. But now we're moving into Sagittarius, which is called mutable energy. You can think of mutable energy like a chameleon. It can adapt and change to fit in with its surroundings, to protect itself, to be socially accepted, which means that this energy we are embarking upon is better to be more adaptable and flexible in our everyday lives as much as possible, because there may be even more change on the horizon, which is definitely to be expected. If we were to further break down the Sagittarius archetype, we'll learn about its free-spirited nature. So it doesn't like to be restricted or constrained or to feel stuck in any way, shape, or form. If you've ever dated a Sagittarius, you might know that they do not like to be tied down, and they have a really hard time with commitment sometimes. Of course, until you find the right one, but this energy doesn't like to be bogged down. They really value their freedom and their ability to be a free spirit, stand on their own 2 feet, and be who they are. So we may feel this urge to be more like this during this time frame. Sagittarians and Sagittarius energy is all about travel and living a carefree life, a carefree existence. With this said, we may feel even more stifled with the intense energies of 2020, with the lockdowns, all of the restrictions, having to wear a face mask, not being able to go out past a certain time. I mean, they are putting curfews in effect now. They're telling us when we can leave our house. And while it's all understandable to a certain extent, this energy might stir up some things inside each and every one of us. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more rebellious type of energy this month, especially if lockdowns continue, especially if it continues into the second holiday season during Christmas and New Year's. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more riots, more rebellion, more pandemonium in general. Sag energy refuses to conform to day-to-day social expectations. So if there are social expectations placed on us, you may begin to rebel. You may not want to go with the status quo and try to seek out other ways of doing things. You may be more apt to step out and speak your truth, speak your true voice, whatever you have to say, whatever your opinion is. But just be on the lookout for self-righteousness and being a preacher rather than a teacher. But we'll get into that a little bit more later. I'll let you guys' imagination lead you to how this could play out with all the chaos that we're presented with in the world right now. Non-conformity, needing freedom, hating restraint, being a free spirit. It sounds kind of like the opposite of what we've been experiencing in 2020 thus far. Now, as much as I love the Sagittarius energy, a shadow quality I'm about to discuss kind of makes them overall a little bit more difficult to deal with from time to time. They may tend to lean towards self-righteousness. Maybe a little bit of a know-it-all or my way or the highway kind of attitude, going off on tangents about things and realizing that nobody is even listening anymore because you lost me, right? You lost me. We get tired of hearing people go on rants about what they feel is right, what their opinion is. But let's be completely honest, where we're at in the world right now, right here, right now in 2020, everybody has a big opinion, not just an opinion, but a big opinion. And they believe their opinion is right. But what we must remember is that everybody's living a completely different reality. Our reality is shaped by our past experiences, our past traumas, what we've been through, how we were raised, our upbringing, our families, our indoctrination, our programming. So we must respect the viewpoints of other people, even if it's not our own. And that can be a really difficult thing to do. But the higher expression of Sagittarius is able to see other people's viewpoints in a respective manner, even if they don't adopt them as their own. Now, Sagittarians can be very harsh with their words from time to time as well. So just giving you guys this information because we really may begin to see more of this behavior escalated in the leaders of the world if we're looking at this on a world stage. But we also might see it in the workplace, maybe with some of our bosses or our coworkers, or even maybe some of our clients or customers, and maybe even see this in our families. It could play out anywhere really, with friendships, especially with people who have lots of Sagittarius energy. Now, you don't have to be Sagittarius sun sign or rising sign necessarily. Every single planet is in a different sign in your birth chart. So if you are interested in this, pull up a free chart on astro.com. Just go to natal chart. All you need is your birth time and birth date and the geographical location of where you were born. And you can see where every single planet was when you were born. So if you see a lot of Sagittarius energy, at least you know that this is very concentrated in your life and you know what to look out for. But back to the report here. Sagittarius season spans November 22nd through December 21st. And its fire energy will help us to put in that last hurrah on whatever it is that we're working on in our lives, whether this be an actual project or maybe it's something more psychological. Maybe we've been working through some internal things. Maybe we have some control issues. Maybe we have some big fears. Whatever it might be, it's going to help us before moving into the new year, before embarking upon what journey lies ahead of us in 2021. Moving from the deep and laser focused energy of Scorpio season, which we have just exited, where things were really getting stirred up inside of us. If you can imagine stirring a big cauldron, a big pot of soup, and there's broth and you can't necessarily see the ingredients of the soup, but they're deep down in there at the core, at the bottom of the pot. Just like inside of each and every one of us, but has that ability to stir the pot and bring the spoon and all of the ingredients all the way up to the top, up to the surface for us to review. And we all have free will, so this is totally up to you if you want to take a look at these things, if you want to work on healing them so that you can be freed from them, right? So you do have this ability to kind of shape your destiny, shape your future, and heal. We all want to heal. We all have that desire, but sometimes we don't necessarily know how to do it, and Sagittarius season wants to help give us those tools. It wants to shine the light on these things. But now we are moving out of that energy, that laser focused energy, and we're moving into a completely different season where we're able to see the bigger picture. We're able to look at things with a much broader mind. So we have the microscope and we are zoomed in. And once we hit Sagittarius season, we zoom all the way out and we're able to see things almost as if we were standing on top of a rooftop and we're looking over the entire city, and we're able to see all the skyscrapers and everything from this bird's eye view. It's a shift in perspective, my friends. You may be able to make more sense out of the darker themes that you were faced with these past few months. Maybe understand the whys to what you've been going through. This may also assist our human collective, so humanity as a whole, to see the many crazy events that are going on in our world right now in an entirely different way. So there may be new information coming to the surface. We're able to see things more clearly, which could be liberating. However, it really may create more conflict at first as society begins to realize this clenched fist it's entangled in, and they begin to kick and scream for an exit, for the freedom that they know they deserve. Sagittarius is ruled by the planet Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is also known as the Big Benefic. It's the planet of luck, the planet of optimism and expansion. Jupiter has been in not such a great place at all over the past year, so you may have felt like you're maybe not the luckiest person this year because it's in a place where it's not that comfortable. So if you imagine going over to somebody's house that you don't really like that much, and then to top it all off, you have to sit in the middle seat of the sofa in between the two people at that house that you like the least. You can really imagine how this would stifle your energy and make you not so happy. Well, that's exactly what's been going on with Jupiter this year. It has been wedged in between Saturn and Pluto in the sign of Capricorn, which is the sign it likes the least of all 12 signs of the zodiac. But I have really good news for you guys. On December 19th, 2020, Jupiter leaves the sign of Capricorn, yay, and it enters Aquarius, where it does a lot better. It's not the best place for Jupiter to be, but it's a whole heck of a lot better than Capricorn, I will tell you that. And it also creates another shift in energy with more freedom seeking and rebellion, revolution, and it may bring shocking and sudden change. It could even bring shocking and sudden weather conditions that are intensified, expanded, bigger than usual. It will then come hand in hand once again as it meets with the stern grandfather, old man Saturn, which is all about restrictions and boundaries and abiding by the laws of time. It's all about karma and hard work, dedication and discipline, which kind of sucks compared to that fun energy of Jupiter, right? So it's going to be joining hand in hand. These two planets are going to be meeting in what's known astrologically as a conjunction. This is going to be happening 2 days after Jupiter moves out of Capricorn. on December 21st. And this is a big deal, you guys. This only happens once every 20 years. And coincidentally, this also happens on the exact day of the solstice. It would be winter solstice here in the northern hemisphere, summer solstice in the southern hemisphere. And I've heard many other astrologers describe this as a huge indicator of major. I mean, I don't usually like to use the word epic, but I'm going to throw it in here because I feel like it fits to a T. Epic social change. I mean, this is huge. Something huge is about to happen. A lot of astrologers are predicting a civil war of some sort. And I believe this is a war on consciousness. This is a war on what is going on spiritually in the world. It's a war between light and dark. It's a war for our freedom. I don't say this to scare anyone. I just say this because I want you to all be aware that we are living through some of the most amazing times ever. We are going to watch some major shifts. We might even watch the fall of civilization and a new civilization be born. Something that is better and more apt to hold space for all of us to be treated fairly, to live our lives as we desire to live them, and to be free-spirited, who we want to be in this world without being stifled by quote unquote the powers that be. The individuals who own most of the money in the world, who hold the power. Times are changing. These things are crumbling. But don't be fooled, because the way that things look right now is not what's really going on. We're going to see so many different shifts and change. So, like I said before, be open and flexible in your mindset. Now, sticking with the Sagittarian-like energy of optimism. Sagittarians can be some of the most optimistic people ever. It might not solve all of our problems to be optimistic, but it's important as ever right now to hold this sense of optimism about what is going on. Now, with the division of the world, everyone is focused on their side. The right or the left, blue or red, vaccine or anti-vax, truth or conspiracy theories. I mean, honestly, everything is so polarized right now. And like I said before, when people have their opinion in this day and age, they have it and they hold on to it tightly. There is absolutely no room left to change their mind. I believe the more that we focus on the negative, the more we feed the negative agendas, and the more we add to this polarization going on. Now, the real challenge here is to remain optimistic. Step into the higher mind, evolved Sagittarian type of energy. Try and look at the world's events from another perspective. I really urge you to just try it out. I dare you. Is there a small chance that maybe you haven't been told the entire truth? Or maybe you're not seeing the whole story. Now, however this resonates for you, see if you can release your tight grip. Open your mind to other possibilities. Remain flexible. And be open to receiving new ideas, bigger ideas. Because these might very well help you to expand your conscious awareness. It might help you to awaken in ways or see the world from a different viewpoint. And to clarify, I'm not asking anyone to bypass all the negativity and think only thoughts of love and light, okay? It's just not how I think or what I would ever ask of you. I'm only suggesting that you shift your mindset and be open to new perspectives, as new information is constantly being revealed to us if our eyes are open, if our minds are open to seeing it and receiving it. And a good mantra for this is, I am open to receive. Say it with me, see how that feels. I am open to receive. Another suggestion I have for you this season is to focus on self-development. In my opinion, I always want to focus on self-development, but I realize that not everybody feels that way, and I respect that. Sagittarian energy is tuned into the higher mind, okay? That's that higher expression of ourselves. Sometimes we might refer to it as the higher self or the evolved self. It's what we're trying to come into in this lifetime. This could include higher education, philosophical ways of thinking, and improving ourselves. If you've been wanting to read that book or take that course, or maybe start those healing, transformative coaching sessions, channel that risk-taking Sagittarian energy and go for it. A little random fact for all of you. The very first self-help book, which was called How to Win Friends and Influence People, was written by a Sagittarian, Dale Carnegie. All right, now while this may not be the best energy for long-term planning, it's a very good time to be adventurous, you guys. Sagittarius is a world traveler. It loves diving into international affairs. It loves eating foreign foods, exploring and immersing themselves in the culture. While 2020 may not be the most optimal year for travels, we'll be completely honest about that, and it might not even be that optimal for big adventures. Maybe you could challenge yourself to get creative with what you have to work with in your immediate environment. So, I don't know, some ideas, whether they might be corny or whatever. We could be incorporating different cultural traditions that interest us, or international foods into our holiday celebrations, or maybe doing like designated food nights. Maybe you do Spanish food on Thursdays where you explore different parts of the culture and eat the foods, listen to the music, whatever. It might be fun. You could just do local travel. It's the perfect time to go to apple orchards, or I don't know, maybe you have some type of holiday attractions nearby in your community where you can go look at lights that are hanging on the trees, a lot of tree lightings that are going on, and this can all be done safely outdoors. You can still wear your mask and be safe, but at least you're getting out there, you're exploring, you're taking in your own surroundings, your own culture. So these are just a couple suggestions. Now to finish this off, let's all try our very best to channel the higher expression of Sagittarius energy, okay? And just to review this, that's optimism, being a big thinker, being philosophical, friendly, likable, and somebody that gets along with all different types of people, all walks of life, no matter what your beliefs are. We respect them. We respect that everybody has different ways of thinking, different viewpoints, and we allow them to be who they are. We don't shun them for it, okay? Versus the less evolved expression, which may get you into confrontations, okay? Because it's due to that self-righteousness, always believing that you're right, always having an opinion that is better than somebody else's, and preaching to them. Even if they don't want to hear it, we preach and preach and preach instead of being a teacher, believing that you're holier than thou. And yes, this is the kind of attitude we want to avoid. And we're seeing it so very much being played out in the world right now. So let's see if we can be the change. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be it, live it, breathe it, walk the walk of the talk that you're talking. Now finally, got myself all amped up here. I'm going to go by rising sign, also known as the ascendant, and give you the topics that are associated with the house that is ruled by Sagittarius in your natal chart. So you don't really need to know anything other than your rising sign. And if you don't know how to find this, like I said, go to astro.com or just type in Google natal chart and it will give you a free natal chart calculator. And you can pull it up, see what your rising sign is, your ascendant, and then go from there. I will put timestamps in the description below so you can go directly to whatever rising sign you are. If you want to check for your sun sign too, which is just the sign you get from your date of birth, that's what you've probably known you were all your life, then you can look at that as well, but it will be less significant than the rising sign. So I'm not going to be giving you a specific reading, just more so giving you the topics of this house that Sagittarius rules. And this is where the sun is going to be for you. So these topics might be highlighted with some of the themes that we discussed today in the podcast. Starting with Aries, the beginning of the zodiac. This Sagittarius season, the sun will be traveling through the 9th house for you, and the topics of the 9th house include philosophy, religion, belief systems, spirituality, law, learning. This would be higher education. So this could be college or continued educational programs, ethics and morals. This could also be long distance trips, international travel, foreign countries, dreams and visions, wisdom, books, even including publishing of books, and finally, finding the deeper meaning in things. Moving on to Taurus. This will be happening in your 8th house. The 8th house topics include joint finances, taxes, inheritances, your partner's money and possessions, bankruptcy, losses, alimony, even things such as death. Now, death doesn't have to mean actual death, however it could, but this house also rules transformation and healing. So in order to transform in our lives, there has to be some sort of death. Death of the old self, death of old behaviors, death of old thought patterns and beliefs, and which all lead to us becoming a better version of ourselves and becoming more powerful. And power is also something that is an 8th house topic. This may also include sex, so very taboo type of topics, psychic abilities, and personal sacrifices. Gemini. This is going to be happening in your 7th house. Here are a couple topics related to the 7th house. One-to-one relationships. Now, this could be close friendships, business partners, spouses. These are binding types of relationships. So marriage would definitely be involved here. This also rules contracts, divorce, lawsuits, and the way that you relate to those closest to you. Cancer. Sagittarius season is happening in your 6th house of daily work. So these are just like odds and end jobs. These might be jobs that we have that aren't necessarily our careers, right? Or just the daily work that we do on a daily basis. Our daily tasks could be things like hygiene or running errands, to-do lists. This also rules our habits, health, sickness, our diet, being of service in whatever way that plays out for you. Moving on to Leo. The sun will be traveling through your 5th house, which is ruled by Sagittarius. Topics for this house include children, fun and play, how you pursue pleasure, creativity, and the creative self-expression. So that could be your hobbies, your interests, passion projects. You being you. Romance, dating, and affairs of the heart, love affairs. All right, Virgo. So the sun is going to be traveling through the 4th house, which is ruled by Sagittarius for you. And the topics associated with this house are the home and family. This could be land, or your inner emotional security, your inner emotional world, your roots, the root of who you really are deep down inside, your upbringing, and your parents. This could be your nurturing parent, whether that's your mother or your father. Moving on to Libra. So Libra, the sun will be transiting your third house, which is ruled by Sagittarius. So topics that may come up for you this month include your immediate environment, short distance travel, siblings, relatives, and neighbors, communication, the intellectual mind, thought patterns, all forms of transportation, and mediums of communication as well. So this might be mail. It could even involve mailmen or package carriers, packages, telephones, all different types of things like that, internet. On to Scorpio. Let's see, this is pertaining to your second house. Topics involve your money and possessions, what you value in life, how you value yourself, how you gain and spend your own money, as well as how you make money in the world. On to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, the sun is going to be traveling your first house, and the spotlight is on you. So happy solar return to any Sagittarius sun signs out there. But if you are a Sag rising as well, here are some of the topics that might come into the forefront for you this month. This is the house of the self, including self-image, your identity, your physical body. So maybe a change in appearance, your personality, or your personal views on life. Moving on to Capricorn. Capricorn, the sun will be transiting your 12th house, which is ruled by Sagittarius. Here are a few of the themes that will be coming up for you this month. The subconscious mind, which are things that we're not necessarily always in the know of. It can be kind of shocking or surprising. You may also have themes of letting go come up to the surface. Maybe the revealing of hidden parts of ourselves. Subconscious habit patterns. This house also rules mental illness, trauma, karma and karmic debts, escapism, which could be through addiction or different types of things such as video games, gambling, self-sabotage, spiritual awakening. This is also the house of spirituality, seclusion and solitude, limitations, frustrations, and anything that takes us away from the world. So this could be institutions, prisons, hospitals. It doesn't always have to be negative. It could be also some type of retreat, yoga retreats or meditation retreats, ashrams. Moving on to Aquarius. Aquarius, the sun is going to be transiting your 11th house this month, which is ruled by Sagittarius. Here are some of the themes that might come up for you. Community, large groups of people, friends, memberships of any sort, your hopes, goals, ambitions, dreams, and wishes, social groups, and your humanitarian interests. Last but certainly not least, we have Pisces. Pisces, the sun's going to be transiting your 10th house this month, ruled by Sagittarius. Here are some themes that you might see coming up for you. Your status, reputation, professional career, success for the sake of social status, recognition, achievements, authority figures, politicians. This would be the parent that is success focused or maybe alpha, dominant. I would say the parent that wears the pants. And public areas of one's life. All right, that wraps up our reading / podcast, whatever you want to call it today. Thank you guys so very much for joining me. If you are still here with me at the end today, leave me a heart emoji in the comments down below. Thank you guys so very much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with your friends, and I can't wait to see you guys or speak with you guys in the next one. Love you, namaste, and peace.